he wants to replace 5 vehicles. We go and say, you know, you only have enough money to cover 3 vehicles, including your radios. So we can only purchase 3 vehicles for you, unless you want to go to the board and pay for a new vehicle out of asset forfeiture to replace an old vehicle. That's how we do that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other, Supervisor McCowen?
I'll move the recommended action.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Anybody from the public want to speak on this item? Okay. Can we vote? By saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
That's for both items.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Kristen. Agenda item 6A, Department of Transportation Director's Report. I'd like to bring up just a comment on the Director's Report. If you go down to about 3/4 of the way down, it says, ironically, the Mendocino County Department of Transportation has approximately $7.3 million in projects ready to award to contractors, but we can't come up with a $375,000 local match. It seems to me like we have, you talk about economic stimulus, when we can put $7.3 million worth of projects that are ready to go forward right now out there, and all we need to do is come up with $375,000 of local match. I would think that we could find a way to do that. Especially when you're talking about, they figure that construction projects like that get about 6 times turnover. So you're talking about a $42 million worth of economic stimulus in this county, and all we have to do is come up with $375,000. I don't think we should pass up that opportunity. If I would like to see, Tom, if you could somehow talk to Howard whether you could use the fund balance in the Department of Transportation or something. But that just seems to me a tremendous deal to have to pass up at this time.
Thank you, Tom Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer. We're having ongoing conversations with Howard about a number of projects that we're looking for funding for. We're hopeful that either through the economic stimulus or once the California state budget gets adopted, there will be some funds that are available for it. So I think we'll have some more clear answers for you within the next 2 weeks. In addition, our office is working on with the City of Ukiah regarding the Orchard Street Bridge and their request for the county to step forward with some additional funding for that in the event the bids exceed the available balance. We're not in agreement at this point that the project should not go out to bid, but that's another project that's held up because we do not have a source of money where we can go and provide temporary funding if it's requested.
Yeah. But my point is, we always have had a positive fund balance carryover in the restricted road fund. And I was thinking if we could use that out of that to get, like I say, if you have a $7.3 million direct contracts, which is a 6 times turnover, so that makes an economic stimulus of about $42 million in this county, and which would put a lot of people and a lot of businesses to work. And I think we should find a way to find that $375,000 match.
I think you'll find we're all in total agreement. The problem you get into with some of these things is who blinks first, and if we go forward with this money, we may jeopardize our ability to get reimbursement out of one of these state or federal programs. So again, I think things will sort out in the next 2 weeks, and we can come back to you next time the board meets on the 23rd or 24th with a report. We don't want to jeopardize potential reimbursement for any project we do. So Howard is very aware of where these funding sources are coming from.
Okay. Any other comments on the? Okay, we'll accept the Director of Transportation's report. Agenda item 7, committee reports, supervisor reports. Any board members? Committee reports? Supervisor Brown?
Yes. Water continues to be a very hot topic and a critical topic among the number of entities that I sit on behalf of this board and the county. Maybe, Mr. Chair, you'd like to talk a little bit about Decision 1610. We did have an ad hoc committee meeting, and what I got out of that meeting is that decision is about a year to 18 months off. And Sonoma County Water Agency will have to, sorry, mic's now on. Sonoma County Water Agency will be the entity that has to submit that application. So as far as that ad hoc committee, I'm not sure if you just want it to carry on for a year and a half until more happens, or dispense with it at this point.
Well, we got a commitment from, as far as the 2 paragraphs in Decision 1610, where it talks about the surplus water, and the surplus water is that's going to the 3rd county, which is Marin County, which, according to what we heard the other day, Sonoma County Water Agency has accumulated about $500 million in cash that they have basically sitting there. And my question was, is under the agreement, 1610 agreement, that number one, Mendocino County should have the approval, or we've never give the written approval to Sonoma County for any water to go to Marin County. And number two is they were supposed to pay us a certain, under agreement, compensation for a percentage of that. And we've never got a nickel, or we've never even give the Sonoma County approval. And so the Russian River Flood Control Districts, they told us at the meeting, their executive director, that they were going to get an opinion from their attorney on that issue. It has nothing to do about flows in water. It's really strictly a business agreement, and so they're going to give us a free opinion. So we're kind of waiting for that. But I really feel that Mendocino County has a strong position. I may be in the minority of that position, but I still hold it dearly that we should be getting something for that, because when you look at the lake levels in Sonoma County that are pretty high, or in Lake Sonoma that are pretty high, and the lake levels in Mendocino County, and we're down to the gravel, I don't think it's fair. I was in Santa Rosa yesterday, and I never seen any signs for conservation or anything down there. So things are going fine down there, but yet we're under severe cutbacks. We're going to have a part of this county that's going to be on a no water use for agriculture. That means people won't be able to water their horses, their goats, or their sheep, or anything. So it's really severe for us to take all the brunt, and our neighbors to the south are getting all the cash and all the water. And I don't believe that Decision 1610, I don't believe that was the intent. Maybe that's how it worked out since the mid-'80s, but I don't believe it was the intent. So I'm still very interested in that issue.
Okay. Also, Supervisor McCowen and myself, along with representatives of Russian River Flood Control, met with PG&E on Friday, and basically the tunnel closure will be completed. They're doing work. There was a leak, and they did not want to have a blowout, and so the tunnel has been shut down. That's another reason that Lake Mendocino is not filling up like maybe it should, although Lake Pillsbury is also down very, very low. But PG&E guaranteed us that the tunnel would be open by the 13th of this month. And I don't know, Supervisor McCowen, if you'd like to add to our meeting with PG&E.
Well, just that we were also inquiring about a recent letter that PG&E had written that was intended to clarify the agreement relating to frost protection for Potter Valley. But since they hadn't bothered to check with any of the stakeholders before they wrote the letter, instead of clarifying the issue, it created quite a bit of controversy. PG&E since then has taken a step back, has had a series of conference calls with all of the stakeholders, the Round Valley Indian Tribes, Potter Valley Irrigation District, Fish and Game, National Marine Fisheries, and they've all now agreed on a new letter of clarification, so that issue seems to have been worked out.
Okay.
Yes, I'd also